Welcome to Schwarzwald. This is a game about cooperation and betrayal. You win by surviving together or by making everyone else die before you. But first steps first. The game is set in medieval Germany in the Black Forest, which in German is called Schwarzwald. Every player plays one family of 4 to 6 peasants. The game is turn-based, with every turn representing one day in the game world and lasting up to 1 day of real time, precisely speaking until all players have given their orders or 24 hours have passed since the last turn, whichever comes first. Schwarzwald is a one-man independent game, developed entirely by me, Tom Vogt, with the help of some board and free assets. Let's jump right in and explain the gameplay as I play. Here in the main menu, you can see all the games I'm currently playing, with details about the current day in the game. Let's start with Feuergau, which has just started. Here you see the village. This is the main view of the game. You can see all the huts and fields and fences of the village here, and these little bubbles inform you about the actions of the last turn. You see, actions are given during the turn, but you do not know what other players are doing until the turn is run. In the center of the village are the common buildings. A village hut, a graveyard that will slowly grow as more and more peasants die, a well for watering the fields, and a watchtower for making gathering in the forest more safe. These last two buildings have to be manned by someone to be effective, one of the cooperative elements of the game. Manning the tower or well just for your own benefit is borderline effective. It might or might not bring you an advantage over ignoring them and putting that peasant to work instead. But for the village as a whole, they are very beneficial, and the investment of just one peasant is well worth it. So if the village can coordinate and cooperate, it will prosper. Aside from that, everyone has their private land to plant and build on. Everyone can also use common land, which is especially useful for cooperation, for joining forces, for example, to build a wall around the entire village. If you build this on the common ground at the edge of the village, everyone can contribute. Actions are given simply by clicking on the target location or the forest, then selecting a peasant and an action, done. So let's see. I have planted some fields here the last round, so I'm waiting for them to grow. While this happens, I can go into the forest and collect some more wood, which I have already done the last turn. As you can see here, I have some wood stored. I want to prepare for some creatures coming out of the forest, and I see that if they come this way, they will run into my neighbor's huts first, but this way nothing protects me, and this neighbor seems to be inactive. He has not done anything, so I should not rely on him. I will begin by building a fence in this location. I will select one of my peasants and instruct him to build a fence, which will cost me 2 units of wood. And you can see him here running towards his assigned spot. The next thing I will do is to gather some additional wood, because now I'm down to 5. And gathering wood in the forest here, as you can see, will gain me 3. This is enough so that in addition to the fields that I've built, I can also choose to build a hen house. A hen house will cost me 6 wood to build, but it will grant me 1 unit of food almost every day. And finally, with my remaining peasant, with my last peasant, I will start to gather stone maybe. It will become more important later in the game, or maybe some more wood so I can build some more fences, or you see, there are not enough peasants to do everything that I would like to do. So there are compromises that you have to make every turn, and this is an important part of the game, to select what are you going to do, what is your strategy, and which things you simply can't. You also have this village chat here to communicate with other players. And as you can see, some players are communicative, they tell what they are planning to do, what they are going to do. And this helps to build a community spirit. You also have a diary where you can write down your thoughts or notes to yourself. This diary is revealed to all players when the game is over, and if you put a little bit of effort into it, it can make an interesting post-mortem read. Let's go to a different village, where you can see what happens after some time. Bronze Reed. This village is on day 13. In addition to many fields and some fences and walls, you can also see the tracks and symbolic depictions of the creatures of the forest that roam the village at night, trampling fields and damaging houses, fences, and walls. These creatures are the main threat of the game. The longer the game lasts, the more of them will come out of the forest at night, breaking down the defenses that everyone built up and endangering the food supply. Peasants can die from starvation or when a creature damages the house they sleep in. As you can see here, I have already set actions for my peasants for this turn. 3 of them I'm sending to gather wood in the forest, and the 4th one is manning the tower. The watchtower was not manned the day before, so I decided that I will do it by myself, and I'm communicating it on the village chat because one person manning the tower is enough. There's no reason why someone else needs to waste a peasant on manning the tower. Why am I manning the tower? Because 3 of my peasants are in the forest gathering wood, and the tower will give them an advantage to make them gathering more wood. And here you can see, for example, some damage that was done. This field has been trampled by creatures during the night, so instead of the usual 6 units of food, you can see here on the left that at the moment it will only yield 4 units of food. And finally, let's have a look at a much advanced village. Kaisersand is on day 31, and it's not summer anymore. You see, here's summer, here's autumn. In autumn and later in winter, survival becomes more difficult. Less food is found in the forest, and fields yield reduced harvest. You can see that most families in Kaisersand have already been wiped out, and much of the village has been destroyed. The common hut and the watchtower are gone. The surviving families struggle, their defenses breaking and fields being trampled. Here, it is clearly about who will last the longest. You can also see here the variety of creatures that roam the village. Foxes are mostly interested in the chickens from the hen houses, like this one. Wolves are weak, but hunt in packs, meaning there are usually several coming from the same direction. Boars don't eat meat, so they will not kill villagers or chickens, but they trample fields badly. Bears are strong and do a lot of damage. And then There are unspeakable monsters. These the villagers only described in hushed tones, because they never really saw them. They do even more damage. Here I also set actions for my peasants already. As you can see, I'm running very low on supplies. However, supplies stored in common buildings could be used as well if only there were some. One of my peasants is in the forest gathering additional wood. With this wood, one other of my peasants is going to build a fence here, hoping to stop monsters from trampling my fields here and damaging my home. Here's another peasant who is planting a field so that I will get some more food. This field is ready to be harvested, which one of my peasants is going to do so that I will not starve. Here are fields that hopefully will bring me food in the next turns. And here is a hen house that is damaged. Damaged hen houses do not produce any more food automatically, but I simply do not have the manpower to repair it this turn, so it will have to wait until next turn. Hopefully it will not be destroyed in the meantime. You also see that the surviving villagers are cooperating, discussing who will man or repair the well, for example. Communication and cooperation is key in the game, unless you go for the victory by last man standing, in which case you want the others to fail. As I said in the beginning, the game is about both cooperation and betrayal. And so the game goes until you die or win. When a game is over, you can check the diaries of everyone, which might give you some insight into your enemy's thoughts. And that is Schwarzwald, a game about cooperation and betrayal, about survival. The game is in beta test right now. You can go to the website, download the latest client, and join one of the games that we have open. Play the game, give me feedback, tell me what works, what doesn't work. I'm very happy to improve upon anything that is not. And that is Schwarzwald. The game is currently in beta testing, so you can go to the website, download the client, and join one of the open games that we have. I'm very happy for feedback, and we are almost feature complete now, entering the balancing phase where everything is being tuned to make the game just perfect. If you want to see you in the game soon.